The identity struggle. Who are you outside of what you do? When meeting new people, we say our name and what we do. We sign every email and letter with our name and our title. We have a badge for networking meetings with our name and our occupation. We've been so trained to think of our identity as it is our title. But is it really? Our identity is so tied into what we do. We shudder to think about stepping out into a new direction. We almost can't understand how to create a new identity or why. We decide to think about that tomorrow, and we keep our deepest dreams of full-time art or golf or travel or volunteering or photography. We keep them quiet. Guess what? Global pandemic has just smashed us into our faces the fact that we have no guarantees of tomorrow. We know younger people than us who are suddenly gone. They had no chance to live out their dreams. We suddenly turn up the volume of our own dreams and take steps to leave our lifelong identity behind. We are ready to create a new identity, but this one must come from the inside if we're going to find happiness and peace. Is that what we want? Happiness and peace? I think so, in the deep, darkest reaches inside of us. But where does it come from? We need to be aware of choices. It all has to do with creating a life of meaning. I believe a life of meaning can only come from how we serve others. And the best identity is when we unite our passions and our interests into ways of helping others. When we use our gifts to serve others, we reveal our true identity. And it has nothing to do with age or money and everything to do with mindset. I invite you on a journey. Listen to this story. Well, what am I here for? Have you ever asked this question to yourself? Well, have you ever asked yourself lately? But remember back when you asked yourself this question the first time, I want to encourage you to think deeply about where your life is taking you. Is it time for a reset? You can do this. Have the last 2 years caused you to take a hard look at what you are doing with the most valuable asset you have? Your time, of course, you know that. Maybe you know someone who ran out of time. A family member, a friend, a public figure, or maybe you came close and survived yourself. During times like this, these things force you to rethink. Times like a forest fire raging through a town and horrifically trapping people, or unexpected tornadoes cutting a swath through 200 miles of several states, or pandemics. You step back into the Stephen Covey exercise of visualizing your memorial tribute, and you ask yourself, what will people remember about me or say about me? And then the deeper question, what do I want them to remember or to say about me? Deep questions. Something to think about over the weekend. Don't you agree? Do you remember your story back when? I remember my own back when, searching for my own meaning and purpose. What am I going to do with my MBA? What career is the best one for me? How can I make a good living doing what I love to do and help others along the way? What questions? They're the same questions today, but back then I was married and ready to settle into something. School was done for now. The year off was starting to wear thin. Company came and stayed for months from Europe, from Africa, from Greece. Not ready for a family, not yet. I wanted to do well financially with my education and experience. Also, we had some moving to do still. It came to us and we both agreed that it wasn't the right location for our dreams. Have you done your own self-evaluation? Before you landed in the career you have right now, you did spend time thinking about what you wanted to do with your life. And you likely went through your history of work. I know I reviewed my history, not a bank. I did that in Africa for 3 years. I worked in a confidential area of money exchange. I bought and sold millions of dollars of yen, sterling, drachmas, lira, pesos in every banking center in the world. And although I liked managing money, opportunities for advancement were few. Back in the States, I tried working for a savings and loan and detested it. It just wasn't a good fit for me. My next step in thinking was not a government agency. When I was studying for my BA and my MBA, I worked for a county department of mental health. The opportunities for growth there were few unless you spent a long time without an advanced degree, and the pay scale was low. And my supervisor took credit for what I'd created to help our cause of preventing mental health crisis through education. Promises for advancement and promotion were broken, and I learned that a bureaucracy was not a good fit for me. Well, not a psychotherapist. I love psychology, but it would have required more school and apprenticing with someone. It was great to be able to help others, but the income for an employee with the county system was not a good livable wage when you work for someone else, even though the work is fascinating and helpful to others. Boy, you know what? Not a factory worker. My first job when I was 16, the first year of my full-time working life, there were all line workers at the machines and a boss. Well, that was during the summer. There was no chance for growth and no money unless you owned the business. Plus, it was boring. I wanted the money at that time, but I knew there were no more fitting ways of earning it. The funny thing is, in all this self-evaluation, I came up with the thought of, no, not a teacher. I didn't like being in charge of kids. Funnily enough, the aptitude test they gave me in high school revealed that I was able to do every single profession except teaching. And I filed that away for some more thought. Not a writer. I love to write, but I didn't understand how you can make enough money to live and to help other people as well. Journalism did not appeal to me. And imagining stories of the hero journeys appealed, but the self-publishing industry was yet to be. I needed a mentor. Gosh, not an insurance agent, funeral parlor director or representative, or a real estate agent, nor a pilot, truck driver, or a nurse or a doctor. None of those appealed. The want ads yielded nothing of interest. Have you ever faced a situation, ask a question, and kept on asking until something clicked? Well, that's what happened to me. It could happen to you if you just keep asking the question. Have you felt the click? It happened to me. Something clicked. It touched my mind and my heart at the same time. I know the moment and the scenario and the idea that clicked. Here's what happened. Some friends invited us to a business opportunity meeting that turned out to be someone selling tax shelters. No, I didn't end up selling tax shelters. I learned what they were, though. This one was about real estate. But the presenter started out by asking, what is the best investment of all? You might have some guesses yourself, but like gold, titanium, diamonds, blue chip stocks, real estate, oil and gas, steel manufacturing, tract home developers. But the answers were no, 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 and no. He said, and I agree, the best investment you can ever make is in yourself and improving your abilities. Wow, I got it, click. Yes. Big breath. He went on to encourage us to read a book a week that teaches like something like a biography or a book about business. Click. Another one. Another way he reached deep inside of me with his words. He also said, as you build your own financial plan, and I felt the click. I can be a financial planner. I can help people and make money, both positives. It was during a time where no one had ever even heard of financial planning as a career. It certainly wasn't in any of my studies. So I continued investigating. It took 6 months along with a move. And yes, reconsidering where we could live that was more enjoyable than a bedroom city to San Bernardino. The smog, the increasing traffic, the sleepy town was not the place of our heart. Guess what? We found San Diego, and that was the choice. Maybe, well, it's become many people's choice because it definitely has grown. I researched several companies offering financial planning careers. They were purveyors of insurance or tax shelters, but mostly it wasn't for me. I didn't want to sell stuff. 11 interviews later, I found IDS, Investors Diversified Services, a family-owned company based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. They had just launched a financial planning arm of the company, and I was one of the first hires to focus on fee-based financial planning. In fact, one of the first fee-based financial planners in the country from any company. That click showed me my calling, led me to over 2 decades of financial planning with clients that became like family. In fact, I now hold a CFB board emeritus for over 25 years of service. But wait, all the focus about financial planning was around spending, saving, and sharing and protecting. It was to save money for retirement, period. There was no thought about helping our clients psychologically prepare for creating a new identity. It's a huge gap in services. Do you remember the story of Moses? God called him to do a big job when he was 80 years old. And he did it until he was 120 years old and died after he climbed up a mountain and saw the promised land. He had his full life force still strong. He could climb and see and climb a mountain and hear, talk with God. And then he died. My heart opened and I understood I am here to serve others until the day I die. I stopped believing in retirement. What about you? What do you think? I got it. There is more to life than money. We parted, that company and I, because as a financial planner, I was not allowed to have life coaching clients at the same time as financial planning clients. Guess what? There is a way that you can do both. Really, I said, watch me. I heard the life coaching call and felt the click. So I learned life coaching skills. I serve clients who want to fulfill their dreams with financial independence and other non-financial goals like improving health, reconciling relationships, building income streams, and developing their hobbies of art, golf, photography, and volunteering. Yay, I discovered where I can serve my clients with my experience and support for their growth. But I felt stuck. I felt they were stuck in their careers aiming for retirement. None of them had a clear idea of their retirement lifestyle. Many have goals of traveling and experiencing cultures in different lands. But the pandemic, what about the pandemic? We were stuck until I felt another click and learned about pet sitting and house sitting as a way to explore the world. Today, I have a private coaching practice helping people recreate their identity. What is it? What will you be? Do you dream about traveling? What's holding you? Because I love to travel and I want to serve others who also love to travel, I found a new thing. Yes, I found a new thing. For those who want an unusual way to travel, I offer a course called Learn to Pet Sit and Travel the World. Do you know that pet sitting and house sitting is an actual movement? Well, think about Airbnb, except you don't pay cash. You pay in caretaking pets and homes and live like the locals while the owners are gone and explore to your heart's content. In the process of downsizing, if you're considering it, now I call it right sizing for psychological reasons, you can sell one house, bank the profits, go pet and house sitting until around the world for a few years, and then return and buy a nest for your later years in whatever part of the world that calls to you. Imagine experiencing the world without having to pay for hotels or rent. You cannot even imagine how much money you can save. If this idea goes click in your mind and heart, it's time to be curious. Guess what? As you travel, your identity changes. The growing and the revealing of the person you are inside, the explorer, the photographer, the foodie. You might travel for a few months as you plan the years ahead. The journey out into the world becomes a journey of self-discovery. It is so much fun and so enlightening, you cannot even believe it. You can take this journey no matter what your age. You can take the self-discovery journey without even leaving your home if that's your wish. You can find your way forward by investigating and evaluating until something goes click. Now you say, what about the pandemic? I have to tell you, thousands of pet sitters and house sitters are still traveling. You can go it alone. You can learn these things alone, but you don't have to. If you want a coach, I can help you find one who's right for you. Who am I? I am a guide. I hope to see you out in the world one of these days.